here we are in Mr. Waxman's shower, bathroom. Okay, but got clothes on. All right, let's turn on the water and let's talk about equation 1. When I put the pan in the water, it doesn't fill up right away. It takes a little bit of time. It's filling up. But I get to a point where it's sort of full and the water coming in is equal to the water spilling out. That's equation 1. That's water equilibrium. The water coming in is equal to the water going out, and it just stays with a constant amount. Now let's think about the rate at which this fills up, the power incident, the water entering per second this thing. What's that dependent upon? Well, first of all, how much water is coming out of the shower per second per square meter, the intensity of the rain or sunlight or whatever is coming down. The other variable that will affect how much water we capture each second, or sunlight or whatever, is the area. The bigger the area, the more we have to capture. Finally, it's sort of how it's oriented. If this is the water and this is the area, not much of it's going in. You're getting a little bit in there, but it's not really entering because it can't really enter. However, if I turn the area, the surface of this, perpendicular to the water, it captures it pretty efficiently and fills up pretty quickly. All right, now imagine you're the sun. You're coming straight at me and you see this. This is the area. Think of how much of you is going in there. And when I tilt it like this, think about how little of it is going. That distance there is your Y. Just see there? That's the normal W. This is L. That stays the same, but as this tilts away from the sun, that part of it, the height from there to there, is your Y, and it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And if I'm like that, none of the sun comes in because Y is about 0. Now, if they're perpendicular, Y is equal to W. All right, let's turn this into math really quickly. It is not that bad. The power out equals power in when it's in thermal equilibrium. Water out equals water in water equilibrium. Area is width times length, and it starts to get interesting. This is the one moment that we need to stop and think a little bit. If this represents the solar oven here, it's not seeing all of the rain because it's not oriented right towards it. The only rain that's going to enter is the rain that crosses this little plane here. We're looking at a cross section of it. Of course, there's a dimension into and out of the paper, as Ms. Nachman mentioned, which is your L value. So that Y, if we want to calculate it, we use this right triangle, and Ms. Nachman did all of that, these thetas and betas and all of that. The sine of this angle here is opposite over adjacent, over hypotenuse, and then you solve it for Y, and you do that little bit of algebra. So finally, let's try to understand this equation 4 and 5. So conceptually, the water entering the pan each second is equal to the intensity of the water per second per meter squared, times the area that the water sees. In terms of sunlight, the incident to the window power, joules per second, is equal to the intensity of the sun, the joules per second per meter squared, times the area that the sun actually sees. And that's the key. That area is not length times width. It's actually length times Y. And so we make those substitutions. Ms. Nachman did that for you already. And we get this final equation that really isn't that bad. The power incident to the window, equation number 5. There you go.